Yes, I think close by. I think
You
that's
want a
awesome.
picture first? Is that what you want?
I think I take out from the video.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yes.
So we'll just talk to you.
Okay. All right. So, how did you first hear about the ACLU?
My dad told me.
Your dad told you?
Yeah.
Do you know what the ACLU stands for?
No.
No? It's okay. A lot of people don't. It's all right. But it stands for American Civil Liberties Union. Do you know what a civil liberty is?
No.
No? Paul, you want to share what a civil liberty is?
Well, let's see. Liberty is like your right. So a right to speech, to free speech, to say what you want to say, right? You have a right to go in public and meet with other groups of people, right? You have a right to vote,
Yeah.
right?
When you're 18.
When you're 18,
Almost there. Almost there.
you know.
Almost.
So these are called freedoms, basically. Liberties is another word for freedoms, you know. So that's what that means. That part of the United States Constitution says that everybody has these rights.
Yeah.
And so what we do in our organization, we make sure that the government, okay, gives you those rights. That they don't say to you, no, you can't say that, or you can't read that book. And then we step in and we say, hey, you know what? We think you can, and we're going to fight with you against the government. So we're always fighting the government. Not that the government is bad, but sometimes they make mistakes.
Yeah.
And we're there to help them understand that they made a mistake. That's what we do.
And have you seen the Constitution before?
No.
No? Well, here is your own personal
Ah,
copy.
this is your first
Right
Constitution copy, buddy. This is amazing. Wow. Thank you so much, guys. This is beautiful.
So the Constitution, it's actually this big, long piece of paper that lives in Washington, D.C. in a big museum. But it was signed many, many years ago. And on the Constitution, it has written all of our rights. So all of our civil liberties that are dedicated to us on that very document. And it lives right here in this little book that you can put in your nice big bag now. So in case you ever really want to know what all of your rights are, then you can look in that book and it'll tell you. Huh. Pretty neat, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty powerful little book.
This is so cool. Yeah.
So I have a question for you. Do you ever disagree with your mom and dad? They tell you to do something and you don't want to do it?
Yeah, sometimes.
You do, right?
Yeah.
And it's okay because you still love your mom and dad, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So this button here, the word is called dissent. That means I don't agree with you, right?
Yeah.
And so sometimes when people they don't agree with what the government is doing, right? People say, "Well, you're not patriotic," but just because you don't agree doesn't mean you don't love your country.
And do you know what patriotic means?
No.
It means that you love your country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just like you can disagree with your parents, but you can still love your parents. You can disagree with your government and still love your government. That's important, right?
It's pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what that means. So whenever you disagree with your mom and dad, you just show them this.
Wow.
I disagree, but I still love you.
That would be awesome. Yes. I have to write my own Constitution here then. That's so cool.
We also got you a bookmark. So when you're reading your book or you're reading your Constitution and you don't finish it right away, you can stick that in the page where you left off and you can pick it up right again later. It's pretty cool, huh?
And how can people can help you? Like what are some of the ways audience could help? Like you.
That's a great question. So there's a multitude of ways that people can help. So it really depends on what people's interests are and what they're capable of doing. So some folks, if they would like to donate, they can donate. But if they are more action oriented, they want to get out there in the community and they want to be a part of conversations.
Okay.
They can get involved in our outreach efforts. So that means that they can do things like table at community events.
Nice.
So for example, this last Saturday there was an inaugural Concord Pride Festival for the
Nice.
LGBT community
Nice,
at the
nice.
state on the State House lawn.
Nice.
So we had volunteers come out, and we had a big table set up with all of this kind of fun stuff here, a bunch of pocket constitutions and information about the work we're doing here in New Hampshire.
Right.
And other people that attended the festival, they come to the table and they look through all the literature and they grab their stickers and their pocket constitutions. And then the volunteers at the table talk to those people and educate them about some of the work that we're doing with specific examples of some of our court cases or
Right.
some of the work we're doing in the State House, and also some of the work we're doing out in the community.
And do you have like some kind of newsletter or something so people
We
can be?
do.
Oh, beautiful.
This one here, see, this is a newsletter.
Nice.
So this is wonderful. So Paul here is really our driving force behind our newsletter.
Okay.
Our newsletter, it comes out quarterly.
Okay.
And what's wonderful about this is it's a little snapshot into the most recent work that we've been doing.
Okay.
So, for example, we had a march for voting rights. So we
Right.
highlighted that.
Nice.
We've been doing a lot of work on voting rights, especially as of late.
Right. Yes.
Right. So that's one of our most important issues currently, and our issue priorities change over time depending on really what's going on nationally
Okay.
and what's going on here locally.
So how does people know about you guys? So on your Facebook or
Yeah.
like what are some like how do so I know because of the immigration debacle happened, so there was a very big outcry, and I think Pragna and we started watching, and from there on with the conversation started of equality and how important you guys are in
Right.
sort of making sure everyone has equal rights and all that.
Sure.
So for now, there's no hopefully that news will go down a bit. But then how will others find you? Or
Great question. So we actually have our website, which I'm sure you've seen already, as well as
Yes.
our social media presence on Facebook and Twitter.
Okay.
But that's why then we fill those gaps in with our community outreach. So
Right.
that what we were just talking about, things like tabling.
Right.
So that
Beautiful.
means the more time we get out into the community, the more exposure that we have, the more people that learn about us, and we're not just as a name, but what do we actually do, right?
Interesting.
They want to learn about the work that we do in the courts and the legislative advocacy we work on in the State House, and then the other kinds of community events that we're working on. And it's not just about being present in the community as it is engaging people in the community, be a part of the process, whether that means they attend a legislative hearing or they lobby their member,
Right.
their local state representative or their state senator, or they attend a rally. But the important thing about the outreach we do and the advocacy on multiple levels is that people that are not regularly a part of this kind of work get engaged on some level.
Okay. So I think one more question I have, and thank you so much for clarifying that for
Absolutely.
me. So how Pragna came to know about ACLU, so she wanted to spend her birthday by giving and all that, right? So I said, okay, Pragna, where do you want to give and all that stuff.
Sure.
And the idea of equality came into that conversation of people are equal, everyone is treated equally. There was a conversation about my like couple of her uncles are immigrants here, so they are treated equally. I think that's where the thing of ACLU sparked. So, but for kids, like, what are there any ways for kids to get involved with ACLU, if at all?
Absolutely. So great question, by the way, because a lot of the people that get involved with us, our supporters, generally tend to be a little bit older.
Yes.
But we do invite children to come and volunteer. Progress could certainly come and table at an event,
Nice.
Or
We
even
can try.
attend a rally.
Yes, that will be awesome.
We've had folks attend some of our rallies that are, still are attached to mom.
Yes.
So
Nice.
yeah,
Makes sense.
So it's never too early to become a civil liberty supporter.
This is awesome. Pragna, that's your first step. So
Yes.
you're already there.
Yeah. And you know what? It's not just about attending rallies, but at any age, if someone's interested, they can write a letter to their elected official
Interesting.
in support or opposition to a particular piece of legislation, or if there's something going on in the community, they want their elected official to be publicly supporting or opposing. Writing letters is very powerful, or meeting with their legislator.
Interesting.
Even though some folks aren't at the age to vote,
Right.
they're still important
can
members
still-
of our communities.
Interesting.
So, and a lot of our legislators understand that, and they also know that the parents of those young people vote. So,
Yes. That's a good point.
but yeah, so it's really whatever our supporters are most interested in, whatever impassions them to get involved. We like to figure out what that is and then incorporate that into the work that we're doing. So if
Interesting.
Pragna likes to draw, then we could have some sort of like art for civil liberties or something. We can
That should be. I think that's a
whatever
fabulous
we
idea
want.
because whenever she was thinking about what to put, and we were discussing a bunch of ideas on what to draw to sort of mark. So I said the kids think in interesting ways, and they can actually translate this into
Absolutely.
a beautiful piece of art or something. So
Yeah.
that's appreciated. Yeah.
Absolutely. And even you had mentioned before your blog.
Yes.
So we're, and I thought this might be of special interest to you. So we're looking to start a New Hampshire specific blog because I'm sure, as you know, the ACLU has a presence in all 50 states.
Yes. Yep.
Now, here in New Hampshire, each state is a little bit different in terms of how we do things,
Yeah.
how we engage members of our community. But there's one thing that sort of transcends across all of the ACLUs and is the power of the written word, right? And so the way we want to embody that here in New Hampshire is through our New Hampshire ACLU Live Free or Die blog.
Okay.
So
Nice.
we're looking to start our own blog here. So any professional expertise you can incite
Absolutely.
would be
I think
helpful.
I'll give you my card as well if I can be of any help. I think that will be much
That would be
appreciated for sure.
so welcome. Yes.
And by the way, thank you all for you're doing a fabulous job, and we are honored that you came all the way from Concord to meet Pragna
Sure.
and making her special, the extra special, right?
Yeah.
And you gave her first constitution. That's Pragna's. This is like beautiful.
That's
So you-
pretty special.
Yes.
So you know what I want to tell you?
What?
So there are a lot of people like you who help the ACLU, right? And then the ACLU helps a lot of people, right? So when you think about the ACLU, think about a lot of people just like you who care about other people, what happens to them, that they're treated the right way and they're treated respectfully, right?
Yeah.
So they're like people, people in other countries where there's war, right? And they lost their home and they have no place to go and they're afraid, right? They have to go to a country and they have to be safe. The ACLU tries to help them come into the United States. That's what we do, So it's, when you have a picture in your head about, what does the ACLU do? That's one of the pictures that we do. We try to help immigrants because my grandfather was an immigrant, from Italy, and they came here, and it was very, very difficult for them. And most Americans, are immigrants. So we all have the same experience, So that's what we're trying to help, basically, people just like us,
Doing a great job, guys. And again, thank you so much for that.